Hi there, welcome to my channel, MoveAgain.Today. I'm May. Today, I'm sharing something really personal, the moment everything in my life changed. I was completely paralyzed for 6 days. I couldn't move, couldn't swallow, I couldn't do anything. I could only lie there and think. That was the start of my journey with Guillain-Barré Syndrome, or GBS. Before I dive into my story, I want to quickly share why I created MoveAgain.Today. This channel and community came out of my experience with GBS, which hit me overnight back in 2017. While trying to recover, I slowly started to rebuild trust with my body, and along the way, I discovered something powerful, something I felt others needed to hear too. Because recovery isn't just about physical healing. It's about learning to trust a body that suddenly feels foreign. It's about finding your own wisdom in the hardest of times. So if you're here because you or someone you love is going through something tough, a sudden health crisis, paralysis, a long recovery, you're in the right place. You're not alone. What I'm about to share isn't just my story. It's a way forward that might help light up yours too. I was 31 when my body stopped me in my tracks. Before that, I had been pushing through life with chronic back pain since I was 23. I ignored the signs, just like we were taught to. Push through, you'll be fine. But my body had been whispering to me for years, and then one day it shouted. It started with a cough that wouldn't go away. Then one morning, I felt this strange tingling in my fingers and toes. Within a day, it spread to my elbows and knees. Soon, I couldn't swallow, I couldn't feel my tongue. The numbness was crawling up my face. I knew something was seriously wrong. By the time I got to the hospital, I couldn't walk. My arms were limp. Then came the diagnosis, Guillain-Barré Syndrome. It is a rare condition where your immune system attacks your nerves. For those who haven't heard of GBS, it often shows up after an infection, and it can cause weakness, numbness, even full body paralysis. Sometimes it affects breathing too. The doctors told me recovery could take months or even years, and some symptoms might never fully go away. In that moment, my whole sense of self unraveled. Everything I thought I knew about my body and my future just fell apart. The strangest part wasn't even a paralysis. It was a disconnection I felt from my body. It was like I wasn't inside it anymore. Everything felt distant, foggy, unreal. I wish someone had told me back then that floating, disconnected feeling, it wasn't a glitch. It was my body protecting me. Our bodies are so wise. When things get too intense, they create space. A cushion, a buffer, something to soften the shock. This kind of disconnection can help us process what's happening bit by bit. It helps us from completely breaking down. Looking back, I can see that now. But in the moment, I just felt lost. If you have ever felt like that, like you're not quite in your body, you're not broken, you are surviving, and that's incredibly powerful. Those 6 days in the high dependency ward felt like a blur. Especially the first 3. Doctors would keep reminding me it could get worse. I was already fully paralyzed. Couldn't move from head to ankles. And yet, they kept monitoring me closely because the next step could have been intubation. That's what they meant. It could get worse if I couldn't breathe on my own. One tiny consolation, my ankle still had movement. They said I was lucky not to have foot drop. Otherwise, I would have needed braces and recovery might have taken even longer. Still, the idea that I might lose my ability to breathe at any moment was terrifying. GBS is so rare, and it's so hard to grasp how quickly it can take everything from you. Even my parents didn't understand the seriousness at first. They didn't come to visit during the first 2 days, even though it was my birthday. At that moment, I was mentally fighting the illness like an enemy. The nasogastric tube, NGT, they inserted was awful. Done without anesthetic at first. I fought the nurses off. Eventually, a kind neurologist got an ENT specialist to redo it properly with anesthetic. That tube stayed with me for a month. During those 6 days, the doctors inserted a valve for frequent blood draws, and physiotherapists came regularly with a cough assist machine to help me clear phlegm. Those first 3 days were hell. I genuinely thought I might die. But on the 4th day, something shifted. I stopped fighting. I started accepting. Not in a giving up kind of way, but more like, okay, this is what it is. Let's take this one moment at a time. I repeated that to myself like a mantra. One step at a time, one breath at a time. This won't last forever. And in my mind, even while paralyzed, I kept visualizing myself walking again. On the 5th day, I felt something. A tiny sensation in my thigh. I could sway a little. It felt like the start of something. By day 6, the doctor said I was stable enough to leave the high dependency ward. I wouldn't need intubation. That alone felt like a miracle. That shift from resistance to acceptance became the foundation of everything I do now. At MoveAgain.Today, we focus on 3 core values: compassion for your body, exactly as it is now, patience with your own unique healing timeline, celebration of every small step forward. In the next video, I'll talk about how this experience became a framework I now call the 7 stages of recovery. From that initial shock and disconnect to finding purpose and joy again. If anything my story connected with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Has your body ever tried to tell you something? And if this has helped you in any way, consider subscribing or sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And most of all, thank you for walking this journey with me.